Hi everyone, and welcome back to our channel, How to Be Successful and to Make Money in Pharmaceutical Sales. I'm Althea.
And I'm Jane. And today we're going to be talking about how to break into primary care in the pharmaceutical industry.
So primary care sales is selling into GP surgeries. Today we're going to give you 10 tips that you can take away to learn how to break into the highly competitive environment of primary care selling. So tip number 10 is going to be shadow somebody. Now, you may already know somebody in the pharmaceutical industry. Great. Contact them and ask them if you can spend the day with them. But don't worry if you don't know anybody in pharma sales. What you can do is head down to your local GP surgery, and I strongly recommend that you do it between 11:30 and 12 when surgery's finished, and ask the receptionist if a pharmaceutical rep is going to be coming in today. If not, don't worry, ask them for a contact. Just contact them if they're not there, ring them up and say, could you spend the day with them? And they'll be more than happy to share their experience with you.
And tip number 9 is research your demographics. So you've secured an interview and the position that you're actually going for, you need to research the area that you would be working. And when you're researching the demographics, these are the parameters that you need to be looking at. So population and healthcare needs of the area that you're going to be working in, the healthcare infrastructure that's surrounding that area, competitor landscape, and the prescribing behaviours and NHS guidelines, the restrictions, formularies, etc., for the area that you would be working in. So how to use this information in your interview. So this information will show that you've got an understanding of the territory specifics and the opportunities and the challenges that you would be facing in that area. It also demonstrates how your relationship building skills are, and it shows that you have a strategic approach to growing sales in that region. So I'll pass you back on to Althea.
Tip number 8 is choose a conservative outfit for interview. The environment of pharmaceuticals and indeed healthcare is still a very conservative environment, so make sure that your outfit reflects that for an interview.
Thanks, Althea. And for tip number 7, we're going to look at open prescribing. It's a web-based tool that anybody can access, and I will put the link in the chat for you. So when you click on the link, it'll bring this up. So this is Search GP prescribing data. So you'll just pop in here the product that you'll be promoting and the competitor product and the area that you'll be working, and then you will click on Show Me the Data, which will bring up an analysis of the data in that area. And why this is important is it just shows that you've done your research in that area in terms of like the products that you would be promoting.
Thanks, Jane. Open prescribing is a great way for people to demonstrate that they have an understanding of what's happening in the pharmaceutical industry. So moving on to tip number 6, that's the top 5 companies who are currently hiring for their primary care sales team. And they are GlaxoSmithKline, AstraZeneca, Pfizer, Novartis, and Sanofi. All of those are large pharmaceutical companies who are always looking to expand in their primary care sales team. So we strongly recommend that you look on their company websites.
Tip number 5 is to tailor your CV. So it's very important that you need to tailor your CV to every position that you apply, looking at their job spec, looking at what their requirements are, and making sure that you add something into your CV that reflects that, basically. So there's plenty of templates on the internet that you can download and use. Keep it to a minimum, so we say 2 pages. They don't want to be looking at reams and reams of pages of information, so keep it really short and punchy. So put in your results, where you've worked or which university you've been to, the results that you had there. In terms of education, go to your highest education first, your highest achievement. And in terms of like hobbies and pastimes, put something in there that reflects that you're good working as a team, something that's creative. Make sure obviously the punctuation's correct and spelling's correct as well.
And that brings us nicely on to tip number 4. So tip number 4 is to research the company that you're applying to. Every company on its website will have a list of values. And if you can, try and think about what values that you have yourself that you can offer that company that aligns with the values that they want to promote.
And also they may ask you actually that what do you know about the company? So it's good to know a little bit of background as well, you know, about how the company started, etc. So tip number 3 is prepare your digital devices. So if you send, you know, a lot of interviews now are conducted over Teams or Zoom or Skype, and they will send a link over to you. So always click on the link, make sure it's working, make sure you can get in, you know, set up your background, you know, things like that. Just make sure your devices are charged up and you're good to go. You know, the last thing you want is to have any glitches in you know, in your technology. You want it to run smoothly as possible.
I think that's a really valid point, Jane. And what we should say is that if you're using an online platform such as Teams, it really drains your battery very quickly. So as Jane says, make sure it's charged up and you're even plugged in and ready to go.
So tip number 2, we're going to look at the STAR format. So when you attend an interview or an assessment centre, you will be asked competency-based interview questions, and they will expect you to respond in a STAR format response. So I'm going to briefly show you what a STAR format is, but we're going to cover that in more detail in a future video. So this is the STAR format. So it's situation, task, action, result. So that's basically what it is. So you tell them what the situation is, you know, what the task was that you had to do, how you went about doing it, and what was the outcome. But we're going to go through this in a bit more detail in a future video, like I said.
Thanks, Jane. As we both said, you know, we will cover this in a later video because it's really important that you're well prepared going into interview. So finally, tip number 1. Tip number 1 is to gather positive feedback. And whenever you're at an interview, they will always ask you what positive feedback you've received. Don't worry, you might have an example, but don't panic if you haven't, because congratulations, guys. The positive feedback that you can present is having watched this video today. We aren't experts in content creation, but we are experts in the pharmaceutical industry, and we know what people are looking for when they're hiring new people into the industry or somebody that's probably in the industry and is looking for a step up. And you can use watching this video as research for your next role. So congratulations, guys, and we'll see you next time when we discuss how to get through the interview using the STAR format and managing open questions. Thank you. We'll see you soon.